welcome to another edition of Carnivore Bites. I'm your host, Jeff Sherman, along with Dr. Eric Lopkin. And, the first thing we need to discuss is obviously the coronavirus. It seems like it is a little bit ebbing. What do you think?
Yeah, in at least New York and the surrounding areas, it looks like we've hit the peak. We are flattening the curve. People are starting to talk about, okay, so how do we get back to normal? How do we reopen the country? And the focus is starting to turn towards that.
Yes. Now, how about, here's what I think, and you tell me. I think that I think Trump did a decent job, but it's February where he kind of screwed up. What do you think?
Well, I mean, certainly if he had reacted faster, it would have been better. But remember that in February, he ordered travel to China halted. And the Democrats came out and called him a racist and said, no, you can't do that. So now, in retrospect, they're going, oh, he waited too long to act. But when he did act, they tried to stop him from acting.
I still see him winning the presidency. What do you think?
I still see him winning the presidency. Again, as I've said all along, the only one that can beat Trump at this point is Trump himself. So there's still that possibility.
And he shouldn't have done that infomercial thing during the update. That was pathetic.
Yeah, he needs to stay on message. It's when he gets off script that he shoots himself in the foot. But I still give him a 60% shot at winning.
Especially with Biden, which is just he's well beyond his prime.
He's definitely beyond his prime. In fact, I had a conversation with someone on one of the Democratic state committees. I won't say which state. And they said point blank, they may stay home because they can't vote for Biden.
Yeah, it's really pathetic how it happened, but it is what it is. Economy, what do you think of that, Dr. Lopkin?
Well, we're starting to see the first real numbers come in from first quarter, from February, from the start of all of this. And unfortunately, the hit to the economy was even greater than we were concerned about. However, the Fed has stepped up and done a lot. The stimulus is now hitting. So even though it's going to hit a bottom that has not been seen since the 1930s, the odds are that it will bounce back in a decent amount of time. Probably not, probably by July, August, we'll start seeing things almost normalized. I won't say completely, but once we get the vaccine, once we get the cure, once the virus is under control, all of the signs say that even though it's going to be a hard ride until then, the economy is going to bounce back fairly well.
I would agree with that. This thing the virus has been something like you've never seen before, correct?
No, nobody's ever seen it before. And now we also have to look at things retroactively because there's new information coming out. Personally, I just found out back in February, myself, my wife, my kids, we were all laid out for a little over a week with this bug that nobody knew what it was. It was a flu-like bug. Now, the doctors are looking back and going, oh, guess what? We think you had COVID-19.
How do you test for that, Dr. Lopkin?
Right now, there is no test for it. It's basically guessing based on where the virus was and what your symptoms were at the time. They are trying out an antibody test. It's being tried at University of Minnesota, I believe. We'll see if this test works in detecting antibodies. The other problem is that we don't know how long antibodies last. So if somebody had it in February and they can't get tested for antibodies until May or June, the antibodies may be gone right now and the test will be inconclusive.
I actually believe what you're saying. That I think many more people had it than they ever knew. What do you think?
That seems to be what's going on. There were a lot more people that had it before it was officially detected. And that's actually a good thing, because if you didn't know you had it, obviously it wasn't fatal. So that actually pushes down the mortality rate. And it shows that more people that get COVID-19 are not being hospitalized, not in danger of death.
I would agree. What do you think of the political ramifications? Pelosi, others. It seems like they're trying to really kind of seize on this.
They're trying to seize on it. It's going to play very well with the Democratic Party loyalists. It's going to play very badly with Republican Party loyalists and Trump supporters. And I don't consider those two things the same group. There are Republican Party loyalists, and then there are Trump supporters. Those two are not necessarily the same people. I think it's going to be very bad that they've already stopped a second round of stimulus. Now they're trying to create their own stimulus. They're going, well, we worked together once, but now we have to do it on our own. We can't let Trump get any credit for it.
I would agree. So, any other final thoughts, Dr. Lopkin?
Well, I think we haven't even gotten to the big political story yet, which is, Obama's coming out and doing a big endorsement for Joe Biden.
I thought that kind of fell flat.
It did. The Democrats are trying to make a big thing about this. This is the party coming together. Obama is stepping up and doing this endorsement. But the problem is, this was his vice president. If he had such faith that he could do the job better than anybody else, where has he been the whole primary? We had socialists running that Obama did not come out and say that's not the way the Democratic Party should turn. So
what do you think really is going on, Dr. Lopkin?
I think they're trying to bring the party together, but honestly, I don't think Obama has the coats that party loyalists are hoping for. I mean, let's not forget, he campaigned for Hillary Clinton. He went out and said this was about his legacy. And if you voted for Trump, you were voting against his legacy. Well, guess what? The country voted against his legacy. Now it's his vice president that's running for president. Do people really want to go, well, guess what? We still don't want your legacy.
I think if it doesn't happen, if Biden doesn't get in, Obama's legacy is completely finished. Do you agree?
Absolutely. If Biden loses, it is a complete repudiation of everything Obama wanted to do and stood for. It says the country is saying, we don't want any of this. There was a survey that just came out. People are saying Obama was the best president of their lifetime. But the voters are actually saying no. He was bad for most of the country. He might have been a great president if you lived in New York City or if you lived in California. But for the rest of the country, he was terrible.
I would agree. Any final thoughts, Dr. Lopkin? I do agree with that.
I think we're starting to see things even out. People are starting to go out, but People are wearing masks to stay safe. In fact, earlier today, Andrew Cuomo issued an order that everybody in New York State is required to wear a mask outside. So we're not through it yet, but every day we move forward, we're a little closer to the end.
I would agree. When do you see the end actually happening, Dr. Lopkin? Not the end, but the corner.
I think we're going to start seeing things get back to normal around the end of May, June 1st.
I would agree with that. Dr. Lopkin, that concludes another edition of Carnivore Bites. And we'll do it on Friday. We invite callers to call in, don't we?
Right. Friday, you can find us live at 4 o'clock at blogtalkradio.com/Carnivore Radio, and you can participate in the conversation by calling in live.
Thank you, Dr. Lopkin. Thank you for our listeners, and we'll be doing it live on Friday.
See you then. You've been listening to Carnivore Bites, part of the Exvadio Podcast Network. You can catch us every week on carnivoreradio.com, exvadio.com/podcasts, the Apple Podcast Store, Google Play, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and wherever you find podcasts.